During the Buddha's time, there was a monk at the Jetavana temple. He was very skillful in every aspect of robe making. He was known as the tailor monk. He was especially known for taking old bits and pieces of cloth, combining them into a soft robe, and dyeing the new robe. The results were amazing. Many monks who saw his beautiful robes would ask him to make robes out of the new cloth that they had acquired. He would tell them that he didn't have time, but if they wanted, they could trade their new cloth for the robe he was wearing. The monks, not knowing that his robe was made out of pieces of old cloth, were more than happy to trade. However, when they went to wash the robes they received from the tailor monk, the color faded, revealing the worn patches and seams. The owners immediately regretted the exchange. The tailor monk developed a bad reputation. However, new monks and traveling monks would still end up falling for his scam. At another temple, there was another robe maker monk who, like the tailor monk, was known for swindling other monks. His friends teased him, saying, "Hey, we hear there's another swindler monk over at Jetavana." The robe maker monk thought, I wonder if I could fool that city monk. And so, the robe maker monk took some rags and made them look like a very fine robe. He put it on and traveled to the Jetavana monastery. The robe maker monk purposely walked by the tailor monk. The tailor monk, noticing the robe maker's beautiful robes and seeing as he was a visitor, immediately coveted the robe maker's robes. He saw the robe maker as his next unwitting victim. So the tailor monk said, "My friend, did you make that robe?" The robe maker monk said, "Yes, sir, I did." The tailor monk said, "I would love to have your robe. Can I trade you some fine cloth for it? I'm sure you can easily make a new robe out of it." The robe maker monk suppressed his delight and said, "Sir, I'd be happy to trade my humble robe for your new cloth." The tailor monk returned to his kuti and looked for some cloth to give the robe maker monk. However, all he had left was his high-quality cloth that he was planning to use for himself. He thought, "Oh well, it is still worth it. I get a fully finished robe made from great cloth, and all I have to give up is this fine quality cloth." And so, when the tailor monk returned, he gave the robe maker monk the fine cloth. In turn, the robe maker monk took off his robe and handed it to the tailor monk. Each monk walked away thinking he had taken advantage of the other. However, when the tailor monk got back to his kuti, he washed his new robe in warm water. The dye faded away, and he could clearly see that this robe was made out of rags. He felt ashamed, and news spread throughout the temple that the swindler himself had been swindled. In the assembly, the monks were talking about the news. When the Buddha heard, he said, "Brothers, this is not the only occasion that the tailor monk was tricky like this. He has behaved in the same manner before and ended up being fooled." The Buddha then told the story of the past. A long time ago, the Bodhisattva was born as a tree spirit in a tree which stood near a certain lotus pond. Every summer, a particular pond that contained many fish would begin to dry up. A crafty crane caught sight of the fish and thought to himself, "There must be a way for me to trick and eat all these fish." When the fish caught sight of the crane, they knew he was a predator. They were instantly wary and tried their best to avoid him. The fish said, "Lord Crane, why are you here?" The crane said, "I see that your water is low, and the heat is intense. I know of a large pool nearby that has much water and food. If you wish, I can take you there, one by one." The fish responded, "Lord Crane, it is our belief that you just want to eat us." The crane said, "If you wish, I can prove myself to you. I can take one of you to the pool and back. This way, you can know that you can trust me." And so, the fish selected the largest among them and sent him off with the crane. When they got to the lotus pond, the crane let the fish out, and the fish explored the extent of the pond. Then, he got back into the mouth of the crane and flew back to his fish brothers. The fish told his fish brothers about the lotus pond and how he was safely carried there and back. The fish were excited by the news of the lotus pond and all wanted to go. And so, the crane took them one by one. When he got to the lotus pond, he would fly past it right into a tree. There, he would peck the fish to death, and their bones would fall and gather to the ground. Then, the crane would go back and tell the remaining fish how happy their friends were, and ask, "Who's next?" Finally, after he had taken and eaten all the fish, he came back and saw that there was only a lone crab remaining. He said, "Mr. Crab, I've already taken all the fish away, and they are all happy in their new home. Come, I'll take you too." The crab said, "How would you carry me?" The crane said, "In my beak, like all the others." The crab thought about it. "It is likely that the crane hasn't brought the fish to the pond, but if he really were to take me to the pond, that would be great. I must come up with a way to outsmart the crane." The crab then responded, But if you carry me in your beak, you might drop me. As a crab, I have a much stronger grip than you. How about this? I'll grip your neck and go with you." The crane, blinded by his greed and desire to eat the crab, did not even suspect that the crab would trick him. He gladly let the crab grip his neck and flew off with him. The crane brought the crab to the pond. However, just like with all the fish, he didn't stop. He flew over the pond and headed for the tree. The crab said, "We're passing the pond. Are you not going to let me down?" The crane said, "Stupid crab. You thought that I would be your slave, that I would just bring you wherever you want? I am going to eat you like I ate the stupid fish." The crab squeezed the crane's neck and said, You ate those fish because they were stupid. But I am not. You will have no chance to eat me, because I will kill you. You are the fool who did not realize that I was tricking you." And with that, the crab squeezed even harder. The crane screamed out in pain, realizing his folly.
Please, Master Crab, spare my life. I will do anything.
Then put me in the pool like you promised, the crab demanded. And so, the crane, in excruciating pain, brought the crab to the pond. But before the crab let go, he gave one last vicious squeeze and squeezed the life out of the crane. In a nearby tree, a tree spirit saw the whole thing and said, "Those who use their wisdom to fool and take advantage of others will reap the results of their karmic actions and be the victims of others seeking to fool them, just like the crane was fooled by the crab." And the Buddha concluded the story by saying, "This is not the first time the tricky tailor monk was fooled by the tricky robe maker monk. Even in that past life, it happened as such. In that story, the tricky tailor monk was the crane, the robe maker monk was the crab, and I was the tree spirit who observed the whole thing." What did you learn from this story? We hope you enjoyed the video. Click like if you did, and click subscribe if you want to see our uploads.